8 or 9 years old when my brother Doug started in the front yard. He was left-handed, and I was left-handed batter, so I had to learn to hit left-handed pitching. I did that well enough that I could move to what was called the field. That's where I ran into Roanoke and the Turd family. So we played in bushes, I guess, up to here. We used rocks for bases. That went on until, like she said, until I turned 14. They had a team called the Webster's All-Stars, and I used to watch them play and chase the foul balls and bring them back. And Mr. Whitfield was the owner. He was the man on the nightclub out there in a motel. And he'd give 50 cents. But as I watched the catch, I said to myself, I can do that. I'm going to do that. That next year, I got a little ahead of myself. That next year, I turned 14, and I asked for a trial. I made that team. Now, we had players on that team 25 to 30 years old. And that next year, I went up. 2 or 3 years later, I went up, like you said, to Salem. And I got a trial with the Memphis Red Sox. But on that team, I do this at schools. When I do my baseball card shows around the country, I want people to know this. Now, you're talking about a Jack Robinson who broke the color barrier that I met twice in my life. See, people don't realize Martin Luther King did this, he did that. He just took up the fight. Jack Robinson broke the color barrier. Yes, he did. Yes. You see, he got spit in his face by his teammates, by other players. Jack had caught the most devil of anybody I know besides being hung. Martin Luther King stated that I wouldn't have been much of anything if it hadn't been for Jackie Robinson. But anyway, on that Memphis Red Sox team, I played with a man, I was his catcher, who broke all world odds. He beat all world odds, in other words. He thought he could sing. And sing, did he ever sing? He could sing so well. He sold over 80 million albums. He had 33 hit singles. And he would go down in history as one of country music's most famous singers ever. His name was Charlie Pride. And the next year, I moved, like she said, to the Detroit Stars, and Satchel Paige came in '58. I was just catching, you couldn't tell me anything. Now, you really couldn't tell me anything. I'm Satchel Paige's catcher. And when we were traveling down the highway, and he would tell me, save everything you can about us. When you tell people you played with me, he won't believe you anyway because I'm so much older than you. He would strike out 15 to 18 batters a game at any time. And that's one of the biggest highlights. The next highlight was signing with the Yankees. I led the Florida State League and everything but home runs and got released. I stayed here, like where this church is, and my teammates stayed over where Hotel Roanoke is in the Florida State League. That's where it was then. But it didn't matter to me because in the Negro Leagues, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. But you see, when I get to talking about it, see, I can stand for 5 or 6 hours now.
Just tell Sister Washington I got to do my thing.
That's right, she got to do it. But I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Thank you very much.
You're all right.